everyone, the threaded hole to your C-clamp body. Okay, so I've already drawn the general shape for my C-clamp. I need to add that hole at this point. So I'm going to create a new sketch on like the back of this object where I want that hole to be placed. Okay, so I start my sketch there. My computer's running really slow. Okay, so inside of create a hole later on. Okay, we have to use like the point tool and we have to use the hole tool to make this specific type of hole. So when we look at dimensioning this object here, it is 3/8 of an inch from the top, inch from the side. Oof. That. Okay, my computer's slow, so I just did that off point both locations. I'm going to click the checkbox, and we're going to go to the hole tool at this point. Okay, so we are not creating a simple hole in this case. I guess we are a simple hole. It's going to go all, not all the way through. That would go through the back side here. So we're going to say blinds, so we can define like how deep it is. And then underneath of here, we're going to select an ANSI thread. Okay, so we're going to say ANSI. And it's not going to be a clearance hole. Clearance hole like allows something to pass straight through it. So it's not going to be clearance, it's going to be a tapped hole. The size is not quarter, the size is going to be 3/8. And then the threads per inch is going to be 16 threads per inch. Okay, everything else can be left the way that it is. You need to select your center. Okay, and again, we don't want to go through all. I need to change that again to blinds. And so the depth of this thing, all of these, so let's see here, the depth of this object is 0.75. The thread depth for this object is also going to be 0.75. And that's the like depth of both of those pieces, and I'm going to click the checkbox. Okay, and that has now created my hole, which is threaded. We don't really see it in here right now, but when we go to define this in our drawing later on, it will be defined as a tapped and threaded hole. So I've been working on setting up this drawing for my clamp, okay? So one thing that I will mention with the clamp is because there's more information on the left side of the clamp than like the right side of the clamp, I've projected a left view instead of a right view, okay? It makes a lot more sense to see this over here. Again, we never want to dimension to hidden lines. So you can actually see now, these are the major diameters of the 3/8 inch thread, and then these two inner lines here are what are called the minor diameter. They're the like inside part of the thread. So we can see the major and the minor over here as well. And at the top, instead of just doing a exact like dimension, we're going to use a hole call out instead, which is this tool found here. And we're going to select the hole, select the side that's visible. And now it tells us that this is a 3/8 16 threaded hole for that there. Also, when you go to dimension this, don't forget to dimension things like the radius of your fillets. Don't forget to include center points for your fillets. And like for this radius up here, despite the fact that the drawing doesn't say it otherwise, you should really add like a ×2 to reference the fact that both this and this are both 1/4 inch holes. Okay, and you could go something like that, and you would go through and continue to dimension down here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.